Hello, this is Martin from My Tutor Business. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to become a private tutor. I hope you'll find some useful tips here which can help you tutor from home, whether you want to do this part-time or full-time. One of the most important things is, of course, subject knowledge. You need to have some knowledge in a particular area, and you need to have students who want to learn this from you. One of the most common questions I get asked from tutors who are interested in getting started is whether you need a teaching degree or not, or a degree in a particular subject. In my opinion, it's not really necessary. It might depend on your country or where you live, but in the UK, where I'm from, it's not needed at all. And often parents, students, and students themselves want experience. They want to know that you can teach and you can get results. They might visit your website or speak to people and hear that you're a good tutor. Um, it's easy to find an expert in a subject who can't really teach properly. They might know loads about it, but they can't actually teach it. You want to check there's demand for lessons in your subject. If you're teaching maths, English, or the piano, guitar, it's a little easier than if you're going to teach something very, very, very specialised. So that's something to bear in mind. And also the need for regular lessons in a subject. In a way, there's no point just having a one-off lesson with a student who wants to learn one thing and then that's it. You don't see them for 6 months or a year. You want some really for your own income and stability. You want something regular which you can coach each week in a particular subject. You should also decide whether you want to teach one subject or many. I personally just teach piano, but if you teach maths, maybe you can teach some aspects of science. There is overlap between certain subjects. In my opinion, if you're just getting started, I would just focus in one subject, and then as you get going, maybe you can branch out further. A business plan is very important, and it's something often overlooked by many tutors, partly because it gives you some goals to work towards. So think about a business name. Obviously, you can just use your own name. That's the easiest way, but you might want to come up with something a bit more creative. Have a look on the internet, look at your local area, see other tutor names. You might want to have some sort of flashy sort of business name, like it sounds like it's a company, rather than just yourself. It's something to think about, but most common thing is obviously just use your own name. Any objectives? Yes, again, as I just mentioned a second ago, goals are very important. What you want to achieve in year one, year two, how many students you want to find, write them down, so you've got something to work towards. Probably the most important part of this video, in my opinion, is thinking about your target market. Extremely important. You need to know who wants lessons in your subject, and people often want lessons for different reasons. A parent might want their son to learn maths in order to get into university, or to get into a certain school. That might be different from a student who's already at a university who needs some help with maths. You have to think about your target market very, very carefully and then think about your marketing that way. Each person who wants to learn a subject has different reasons. Financial information, yes. So you need to think about, again, how much do you want to earn in year one, year two, year three. Write them down. Give yourself these goals. It's very important to help you motivate you and stick it out, because the first year of tutoring can be quite tricky. And you need to, having this plan, having these goals will help motivate you to move on further. Marketing and competition next. Yes, I would look in your area to see how other tutors are marketing themselves. Do you see any flyers in shops or in your local area, libraries, sort of sports centres? You see your flyers, business cards. Do you see any online advertising, Google AdWords, Facebook ads? See what they're doing. You can, and then you can find other ways to market your business which they're not using. Promotion, this is the hardest part of tutoring in my opinion, particularly in the first year. To get the ball rolling, you need to use a lot of different online and offline methods to succeed. So really research this. I have lots of advice on my website about sort of promotion. AdWords, Facebook for online is very, very good. And then flyers, posters, business cards for offline can be very, very effective if you use them correctly. One thing often overlooked by people who want to become a private tutor is insurance, specifically public liability insurance. You need to protect yourself if there's any issue with a student or something. What happens if a student comes around your home and trips over an object and then puts their hand through a glass table? And it must seem incredibly unlikely, and it is. But public liability insurance is very important to protect yourself, just in case there's some accident or incident at your home. So think about that. It's not expensive. You can just buy it for a year. What I use in the UK, I'm with the Musicians Union, and it's often public liability is included with that, your annual fee. So definitely get public liability insurance. Teaching environments, you need to ensure you have a nice, neat, and tidy workplace in your home, which is conducive to learning. Not too many distractions. Dress to impress. Yeah. You might think if you're teaching at home, you can just wear some baggy jeans and a creased t-shirt. You think, oh, it doesn't really matter, someone's going around, but it's my home. But I think it's important to dress appropriately and just to give the right impression that you're a serious tutor. You take things very seriously. You're very professional. So, and shirt and tie, or maybe not a tie, but shirt, nice trousers, shoes, just to look the part. It's very important. And of course, as well as a neat and tidy workplace, it should be quiet, not too many distractions. If you have other housemates or other people living with you, just they should be aware that you're tutoring, and you don't want to sort of have many distractions when the lesson's going on. Setting up a website next. This is a great way for students to find you online, and also you can put a website on your flyers and your posters and business cards as part of your promotion. It's a necessity these days, really. There are still a couple of tutors I know who don't have one, but they've been tutoring for many, many years, and they've got such a strong reputation, which word of mouth is usually all they need to find students. They've built up such a reputation over the years. But now in the 21st century, especially if you're starting out, definitely get a website. You could do it yourself, which is what I did. I'd recommend doing this. You can use WordPress to create a website. If you're really not confident, you can always get a web designer, but obviously that's more money. Another advantage for doing it yourself is if you want to update any content. If you're going to have to contact a web designer every time you want to put up a new page on your website, it's just a bit of a hassle. So YouTube's great for looking at the basics of using WordPress to create a website and then get some hosting, and then you're on your way. It's really, with a bit of research, you should be able to get it up and running in a few days or less than that. So I'd recommend doing that if you can. Just make sure your website is mobile responsive. It's essential these days. It might surprise you how many people actually search on their phones rather than on the computer to find information. Whether it's find restaurants in the local area or cinema, and the same with running a tutor. You need to make sure if they find your website looking on their phones, when they click to your website, it displays neatly and fits perfectly on their phone, cell phone or tablet. Otherwise, they'll just leave, and that's potentially a lost student. And also, I believe with Google, having a mobile responsive website does give your site a little boost in the rankings. Decide on your payment terms. Yes, it's very important to know how you want to get paid, to earn a living as a tutor. My golden rule is probably don't be a soft touch. Set it out right from the start, what your payment terms are with the students, even before the first lesson. You might want to offer a trial or a free first lesson to start with, which is fine. But in that trial lesson, just make it clear that this is how I get paid, this is how it works. Otherwise, in my experience, if you try and be too nice and relaxed about it, people can take advantage of you, and it can create difficulties, cancellations, and so on. So just be sort of, you're a business, you're in business, you're self-employed. Take it seriously and lay out your payment terms. I'd recommend charging for a block of lessons as well. To that sort of also um, makes a student again think you're more serious as a tutor, and they'll probably take the lessons more seriously as well. They think, oh, I've paid for 10 lessons, 5, 10, or 20 lessons. That's it, and you can charge it up front, and it's a great way to avoid having to pay every lesson or the end of lessons. I'd do it in advance. You obviously can offer a small discount for this, which can help massively um, to encourage people to pay for a block of lessons. Yeah, I mentioned this a second ago in the payment terms. You want a really detailed cancellation policy, again, to avoid problems and awkward situations. What happens if a student phones you 5 minutes before a lesson and says, "Oh, I can't really come today. I've got something on." What do? You've lost income. So decide on your cancellation policy 24 hours in advance or 48 hours or something. But again, give this policy to students before you start tutoring them. Give it to them in a trial lesson or just before the first lesson, just so they're aware that how it works. Again, it's going back to that not being a soft touch, not being a soft touch. Yeah, it protects your income. If someone cancels 24 hours in advance or before a lesson, if they've paid for a block of lessons, you can just put it in your policy. Well, tough. That's it. We'll move on next week. You've already paid. But obviously, it can work both ways. If you cancel a lesson yourself for some reason, you can obviously make it up to them or refund them. If you'd like any more advice on starting a tutoring business, please visit my website at www.mytutorbusiness.com. Here you'll discover everything you need to start, build and grow your own tutoring business. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I wish you the best of luck.